Hi there, Matt Philleo in the studio, working on that painting of Peter raising up the lame man, or actually, I should say, Jesus raising up the lame man through Peter. And this is what I talked to you about last time. It was that book cover illustration depicting that scene in Acts chapter 3, where the lame man is sitting in front of the temple. He couldn't walk. He was disabled from birth. So he was a beggar, and he would basically ask and beg from the people walking by for alms and money. And in that story, Peter and John said, "Silver and gold we don't have. We don't have any money, but what we do have, we give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk." And so I'm depicting that point. So last time I showed you the design I had on Photoshop, and let me just segue over to that. And so you might have seen this in the previous video in this series. The photo collage I made on Photoshop of myself and my friend, and it's showing the lame man being raised up. And I'm not going to go into detail on that because you can watch the previous video in order to hear about how I did that. But for now, I'm going to switch over to the other camera and show you my sketch. So it'll be just a moment here. And here I have the sketch currently in progress. Actually, I would call it finished. Just today I added this woman walking up the stairs just to give it a little idea that there's some people going up the stairs, and it's not just happening in a corner. And so you can see there's going to be some people watching this event, which is very important in the biblical account because this actually was observed by many people, and then later on Peter and John were interrogated by the Jewish leaders because this man was healed, and they were preaching in the name of Jesus Christ that people could be healed, and that caused them a little bit of maybe shame and some problems. So anyway, it was very important then in this illustration that I have, several people watching, or at least the idea that there's people going up to the temple. But what I did in the illustration here is I sketched it with colored pencil. So I used a dark, a sepia tone colored pencil. And this actually works very, very well on a medium, or I should say a canvas that's prepared with a mixture of matte medium and gesso, and it gives you the perfect surface to sketch on. And I've shared this in other videos as well. But in case you're new to this YouTube channel and you're just catching this video, it's important, I think, for you to know, if you're an acrylic painter, that you can sketch on a canvas very easily if you don't just take it as it comes from the factory, with the sizing they put on it. If you actually will prepare it with a little mixture of matte medium and gesso, then the colored pencil will just glide along the surface. And as you can see here, if I make a line, it's very, very easy to erase. But what I'm going to do today is take some white paint, and I'm going to go over the background and just show you one of the stages in a painting after it's sketched in. Is I use the grid technique, and so you may or may not be able to see it in the video, but there's 1-inch squares going throughout this canvas. And obviously I don't want that in the final painting. And because I use a glazing technique where it's very translucent, you might be able to see that through the layers of paint. So I'm going to blot them out using opaque white paint. I'm just going to go over the grid lines and make sure everything is covered up. And I just scrub the paint right in. I use a pretty firm brush and quite a bit of pressure to get it scrubbed into the texture of the canvas weave. And then after it's filled in those textural areas, then I smooth it out. I try not to overwork it because acrylic dries very, very fast. And I'm just going to go over and fill in all those areas. And again, now it's almost impossible to see the grid lines. I'm going to do the same thing below on the ground. Areas where it might be darker doesn't matter quite so much, but this will be areas illuminated with light and very translucent as I apply the paint layers. So I don't want to have those grid lines showing. Areas like this within his cloak and his garment will be very dark, so that won't matter quite so much. And that basically will get me prepared for the next step, which will be allowing this to dry. And then after that, I will actually put on the color layers, the initial base layers. And I'm going to show that to you in the next video. So hope you enjoyed this small segment on my progress on this painting of Peter and John raising up the lame man, as recorded in chapter 3 of the book of Acts. And if you have any comments on this, I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for everybody that's been commenting on this YouTube channel. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'd love to continue to show you videos like this on how I paint book cover illustrations, as an example like this, and also art tutorials on portrait painting, especially realistic acrylic portrait painting. And so you can also see more of my work at mattphilleo.com, and I'd love to follow you or have you follow me and connect with you there. So have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon.